Hi, it's Sarah SMUTNY, your host of the Simply Balanced podcast. I'm super happy that you're listening in today, and here in this podcast we are going to go deep on gut health, anti-inflammatory living, spirituality, self-care and so much more. Today I have the honor to talk to my coach from the past, Onkartej, who's a Kundalini and spiritual teacher, and I'm super happy to speak to her today. So welcome, Onkartej. So nice to see you again after like a long time we didn't speak since our
It has been a while.
yeah, a long while.
Long.
Tell us a bit about yourself to our listeners. Who are you? Who is Onkartej?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Sarah. I really appreciate seeing you again after all this time. And lots has happened since then, hasn't it? And so, I think we've been on quite dynamic journeys ever since we last worked together. And who is Onkartej? It's ever changing and ever dynamic. I never want to put myself in one, box. I think that's, that would be like the death of me, so that question is it's a great question as well, because it has me thinking and feeling like, who am I right now in this moment? Well, in this moment, I am first and foremost a mother and a daughter, and that makes me really happy to have children to be responsible for and to raise, and to keep me grounded and to keep me inspired with what I, the mission and the purpose and, what I want to bring into this world. I think everything that I've done up in from the point that I've, had my first child was, it's been for, to provide for them in some ways, it's been to, really be able to enrich my own life so that their lives are enriched as well. But, not only that, of course, I do that for myself too. But, most definitely, my children are my biggest inspirations. And so, first and foremost, I'm a mother. And following that, I am, I teach yoga, Kundalini yoga to be specific. I also work with women and men to help them really move through any sort of heartache or heartbreak or the devastation of a breakup, and I help guide them back to health and happiness. So that one's been something that I've been very familiar with a few times in my life, and so just really coming back to that now again to refine the purpose and passion for that. And I'm also a student student of life, and definitely have many learnings from not only nature, but from my children, from my environment, from my friends, but also I've just entered the education stream as well. So I've I've just started university, and so I'll be learning about counseling and psychotherapy, so that's very exciting for me. And so I'm very excited about that, and looking forward to what I will be learning and what else I could bring into the work that I do.
And what made you actually have this urge to become a Kundalini teacher, or what Kundalini, what is so special about it?
What was really special for me in terms of Kundalini was its unique quality. It has such a capacity to open the heart, which I had never, I had always logically known that I had a heart that keeps me alive, that beats, and that pumps blood through my body. But I up until the point where I did Kundalini, I didn't actually really feel connected to all of the emotional processing and the feelings that my heart is very sensitive to. Of course, I'd felt love and I'd felt connection and I felt joy and happiness and bliss. But the actual deep connection, like the actual emotional connection that I had to my heart wasn't present until Kundalini. So that was what really solidified my connection and my dedication to the practice.
Did you have kind of an awakening or kind of a very special moment where you thought like, wow, what is it?
Yes, I did actually. So my first class was very interesting. It wasn't something that I felt like had any sort of I didn't feel anything from my first class. I just thought this is quite weird and strange, but I was intrigued because it is quite different to other yoga practices. Yeah. And so like but something had, like something had hooked me in, like the uniqueness and because I'm very quite, I like things that are a bit different anyway, and so I kept going back, and I had a 1 month membership to, like a beginner's membership to the studio, and so I went repeatedly back for a week. I think I went to 5 classes, and then on the 5th class was when I had this feeling of wow, like clarity like I've never experienced before in my life, and I just felt so just open and like clear is the only word that I can, really describe that feeling of. Like I just felt alive, like ecstatic in a way, but like in a really vibrant, healthy, lit up way. It was like the word enlightenment. Like the word enlightenment, when you break it down, is being to have light, move through and fill you up. And so that's what it felt like. It just felt like a light bulb went off within my being. But after that week of practice, I think it was like a month later or something like that, where I went to another class, and at the end of the class, the teacher asked us to put our hands on our heart, and that's when I had that experience of, wow, I have a heart, like, because I could feel my heartbeat and just that real stillness and that real presence with my heart. Like I've never, ever been so present and so available and so connected to my heart before. And so that was huge to experience. And I had a really long conversation with the teacher after that. And I was just like, I have a heart. That was like the most, that was just like such a joyous, innocent thing. So that I really have to say that, Kundalini is, it takes you back to your innocence, to that purity, that purification of all the noise, all of the chaos, all of the blocks, and out of the mind and into the heart and to the body. So, that's why it's very special to me. And that's, the connection. Well, Kundalini, what it means is like spiritual life force energy. And so, when you really have connection to your life force and to spirit, it just is such a phenomenal feeling that, it really is the embodiment of what the name is. So, it's very special.
I also felt such a change since I did the guidance with you, it's I cannot explain it. How I feel now, like the Sarah of now, after working with you and before, is completely different. As you said, much more connected, much more instinctual as well, like intuitive, and
yes,
to the universe, to myself, to my heart, and I'm also much more aware of what is happening in me, like how I respond to moments, it's and to people, to emotions. It's powerful, But what I'm super interested, like what made you then decide? What did it change in your daily life that after you had this, let's say, awakening and connection to your heart?
Well, when I discovered Kundalini yoga, I was already clear that I wanted to teach yoga because I knew, how healing it was for me during my journey at that stage, but I just didn't know what form or what style of yoga it was going to be. So, when I found Kundalini yoga, it was like after that week, it was very clear that this was going to be it. And so Yeah, what was your question again, Sarah?
Like, what did it do in your, like, how did you feel a change in your daily life then, in like the way,
Okay.
how you reacted on people, or in your relationships, or,
Yeah. So the most profound change that I found with the practice was that I was able to, like, sort of like you said before, I was able to, see myself, like, my reactions in, like, and catch them before they were actually, like, kind of become, this unconscious pattern or a habit. So yeah, the awareness just became so much more profound, like my awareness of, my myself, my automatic reactions, the way I think, the way I feel. It just became so much more refined. Like I had much more of a capacity to channel my energy, my attention. So yeah, like I was just more focused and healthy, like, just, and felt ecstatic actually. So I just felt so high on life, and that's such an amazing feeling to have, like, and such a natural way of being as well. And that is our natural state. So in Kundalini yoga, there's this mantra called Guru, which means there's ecstasy vibrating through my every cell. And so, like, that's pretty much what it is to be so connected and tapped into spirit, and to, like, to awaken that Kundalini. And and so that was how I was functioning and experiencing the world, like, I would have to say, I've experienced depression at different times of my life, and, from a very young age. And just before this interview, I was reflecting on, what we might be talking about as well. And just before this interview, I'd taken a test for depression, because it was one of the requirements for the university studies, just so that we can understand how we function and who we are and how we operate. And so it was like 4 questions. And each question had like 3 multiple choice answers. And I rated like 0 on, I think there was like 23 questions. I rated 0 on 22 of them, and 1 on one of them. So 0 being nothing and 3 being the highest. And so, yeah, it's just like this practice, and, like, where I'm at with what I'm doing has just enabled, to move so far from, the depressive states that I've actually been in my past. And the most profound one was like after my first child. I really feel like there was some kind of prenatal or postnatal depression. And I remember, like, going to the doctors, and they were going to prescribe me medication, like antidepressants. And at that, like, I was only 21. At that stage, I already knew, there was a real deep knowing within me that I didn't want to take medication, and because I knew that I would have to be dependent on it, because, like, antidepressants is something that you have to slowly come off of as well. So you become addicted to it. And so yeah, it's been amazing to experience life without, depression, and feeling really good just because of, practice and the things that you do, like self-care practices that have you feeling so good.
Feeling high on your own dopamine, let's say. Kind of.
Yeah.
Like, recently, I was at a dinner, and friends asked me, why don't you drink? And I just said, I don't need it. I'm high on my own. I get high on running, high on Kundalini, high on this. And I have other things I get high on, So, and they were very astonished, and also very inspired by this answer. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Yay!
I'm really happy. So I have another question. Like, why? What did you then? What made you decide to become a Kundalini coach or a Kundalini teacher yourself?
Yeah, it was just so important. Like, I think, look, for me, my life came to a stage where, so I'd lost my previous job in fashion design, and I was just at a point in my life where, what am I going to do with my life now? And, like, I didn't want to go back to another fashion design job, because the industry is quite toxic. It's a very cutthroat industry. It's very unhealthy. And like within me, I knew that I wanted something, I wanted something, like I wanted to be in alignment with integrity. And I think from the littlest age, I just always wanted to be honest and to always to be of integrity. And, as my journey, progressed, as I became older, wiser, like Kundalini yoga just felt so clear to me, like as the direction and the path. So when I lost my job in fashion design, I had to really, like soul search. I had to seek right into my soul, and I found a little book that was very, that changed the whole direction of my life. And it was a little guided meditation book, and it was called Why. I haven't been able to find it since. I wish I had recorded, the authors, because I wish I could, be able to pass it on to anybody else that's, like sort of at a loss of what to do. But it was a guided meditation, which I'd never done before. Prior to that, I'd done like yoga in the gym, but never meditation. And so it was a meditation that guided how to find your life purpose.
Wow.
And
I would love to have this because there.
Yeah. It's this tiny little book. It was like really, really small, and it had the pictures of clouds on it, and it was just the sky and this big, in big font, Why on the front cover. And I remember feeling very lost at the time, and and asking for help. Like I was asking for some kind of help and some kind of guidance. And I found that book at the library after school one day with my girls, and like I didn't think I'd be able to, be able to do the meditation because I'd never done it before. But for some reason I just read it, and it, like, I just went right into it, and it just, like, I've immediately felt that it dropped in, become a yoga teacher to help other people heal their broken hearts. And so, because that was what yoga was helping for me at the time. Like, it was really helping me to stay balanced. And and then that became it. And then the journey became to like find the yoga that I was going to teach. And during that path, like, I had all of these different people come into my path to help move me in this direction. And I think, like, it's always the case, like every single step I've taken, like, and this new direction into psychotherapy has also had like people, like, coming in and, really assisting that journey all along.
Lots of signs.
So many signs, so much support, so much like, protection as well. Like, there's just been every avenue opens up. Like, there might be a few challenges here and there, but, after the initial kind of, maybe resistance or, sort of like kind of difficulty, then, it always, like, that decision becomes, and the will and the determination becomes so much stronger that, it just becomes possible. Everything becomes possible.
Yeah, I think this is so inspiring for our listeners now, like, to see if you're also on a seeking purpose, seeking what is your path of your life. Just don't hesitate to also ask for help. Like, ask your guide, connect, and try Kundalini yoga. But
come find me, and I can help you as well. And I'm sure, like, I think the biggest thing, like, that people struggle with the most, and I have friends and who are also in this situation, is just not believing enough that something is possible. Sorry, like, bless you. Just not believing in that, like, that there is a place in whichever industry, whichever area you want to go, that there is space for you in that, where that you can do it. Like, I have, like, a few friends in mind who want to get into coaching, who want to get into, the health and wellness and holistic wellness, but just, feel a bit of fear. And it's like, that fear is always going to hold you back. There is never going to be a right time. You just have to, like, want something so much that, you just don't stop at no. Like, and I think I really feel like this is what's happened with my psychotherapy training this time, because I want it so much, and I'm like that, like, I'm not going to stop at anything. And it's really interesting. At 42 years old, I'm going back to school, and that's never something I ever thought that I would ever do. I actually haven't even finished high school, so I didn't even complete high school. And like sort of, just sort of never thought I'd ever actually go back to school. But now as a mature age student, like, just feeling like, there's something else that I would love to, bring into the world, because I've had so much benefit from it. I find psychotherapy such a profound and healing and unlocking like deeper layers of the psyche, deeper layers of awareness. Like yoga and meditation are wonderful and fantastic. Like Kundalini yoga, I have to say, I'm still so dedicated to that. However, there are parts of the brain and within ourselves and within our own like sort of, traumas and our own experiences that therapy and having a trained specialist to hold that space for can really, really access the parts of ourselves.
So now in your new, like in your future way of helping people, you will bring that all together, I guess, no? Like psychotherapy, Kundalini, meditation, spirituality, all.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's like within my own, like, because I noticed that within my own development, my own personal development, my own healing and my own understanding that, that there's parts of me that I can't access on my own through my yoga or through, my meditation, and that, like having a therapist really helps me too. And so that's where I've noticed my gap is, and that's where I want to bridge that gap and to also be able to provide, that therapeutic space for those that I work with.
Yeah, amazing. I'm really looking forward to see your path now unfolding. How long does it need now, this study?
It's 3 years of full-time study.
Wow. Yeah. But will you also teach and guide people on in the meanwhile, or are you stopping for 3 years and then retaking it?
Yeah, I'll have to really see how I go. But at the moment, like I have the intentions of like I'm teaching 1 class a week on a Thursday night, and then I want to have the intention of like having 2 private students that I work with for like long term, maybe like 6 months sort of time frame, and like that would be my maximum capacity to work with, because this full-time study is around about 30 to 40 hours a week of study. So that's already full time in itself. But I have work and, and students to also.
And your kids.
Yes.
Don't forget.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So there's two little mini questions to make it not too long for our talk. What is your spiritual practice every day looking now like with your busy schedule now? Or what would you advise to people who have a busy schedule? Because doing maybe every morning a morning routine of 45 minutes can be even a stress factor. I saw that like with people when they think I have to now get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do that, and then going back into the to-do list of the day. I could see it with myself, but also with other people that can even create stress. So what would you what would you advise for people? How to get in?
That's a good question. The people who are wanting to get into it, who aren't in it at all, do you mean? Or
to start to have a kind of morning routine or like a spiritual practice to integrate every day without feeling that it's a must or duty, and it's easy to integrate in the daily life. If you have kids, if you have a full-time job or whatever occupation,
Well, and with that question, like the one thing that stands out to me the most is make everything you do a meditation. Like it's not you waking up in the morning, being on your mat, but like it's you getting up and like before you actually open your eyes, you notice which nostril you're breathing out of. You just give thanks for the day. That's a prayer and a meditation in itself. And then like the way you get out of bed. Like I think I've shared this with you, Sarah. where you notice which nostril you're breathing out of, and then you roll out of the same side of the bed and you step off the bed with that same foot. Have we talked about this?
I don't remember it.
Okay. So,
It's a very good one.
Yeah. That's the most simple thing you can do and the quickest thing that you can do. And it brings you to awareness. It brings you to the now. So like as soon as you come to awakening, you into an awake state, you notice which nostril you're breathing out of. It's always one or the other. You're never really breathing out of both nostrils at the same time. So if you're breathing most dominantly through your left nostril, then you roll out of the left side of the bed. You might have to roll over your husband or your partner. If he's on that side of the bed, and then you step off the same side of the bed you would step off the bed with your left foot, and like so this like it sounds a little bit weird and quirky, but it's it's just bringing such awareness to your day, because so often we'll just wake up and we'll just like throw off the blankets if we're late, for our like alarm, and then we'll just quickly rush around. So like just that in itself is really potent and powerful. And then, like, you just go about your day. Like, we've got the morning self-care routine, and like, it's oil pulling, dry brushing, and all those things. Just bringing so much presence to that. It's just really being able to be present. Meditation doesn't have to look like sitting on your yoga mat, on a cushion. Meditation is in your entire day. Like just coming back to here, coming back to your breath, and notice how you're feeling. And just being so present, you can do that. But if but movement is essential. So finding some kind of movement, shaking for like five minutes is really good, because that shakes off all of the stagnant energy. So I would recommend that too for people who don't have a lot of time. So like just present with the breath, shaking is really good. And now like I go to the gym like 5 or 6 times a week. So that's like a 45-minute class every morning. So like it's really important. If you want to do a lot, then you have to work your body to be able to do a lot, so the more that your body can like endure and can take on, the more that it can do. So it's all in proportion. If you like lots of ambition, there's things that you want to accomplish, the body has to be able to like have the energy and the stamina to be able to do that. And so work yourself.
Well, and also how you nourish your body is also a very big part.
Yes, and that's where you come in.
yeah. But you're also not so bad in that, I think, because I know also a bit like how you are eating and how you're how you're nourishing yourself, and I think you're on a good path as well. I think it's all holistic, right? And so finding each area of your life where you can really find healthy ways to maintain vitality is so necessary. But one thing which can become more and more clear to me in the last years is that not only the food is nourishing us, but especially our thoughts can toxify us or nourish us. And this is something that a lot of us or a lot of people are not really aware of, how toxifying the thoughts can be for the body and for our life. Because we are not aware of them. We just they just float through us the whole day. But by Kundalini, it brings all this awareness, and then we see it or we feel it and we observe it. That's it. That's the first change. That's kind of the spark of change when you observe it.
Absolutely.
How others talk to you, how you talk to yourself, and then you are able to start setting mini boundaries until you are like, you helped me also a lot with this. It's so powerful. So last question, how can people find you, if they want to start discovering Kundalini yoga, or anyway also reaching out to you? Would that be on your Instagram, on your YouTube channel, or where?
There's all of those things. There's the YouTube channel, there's the Facebook, and there's the Instagram, and I'm also in the middle of building my website, which is very exciting. So when that's done, it should be like maybe in the next week or so. Onkartej.com is where you'll be able to find me, and where you'd be able to access my work and what I do.
Anyway, I will link everything in the show notes, and then you can find her. And if you're interested to try something, she has amazing videos on her YouTube where you can dive into how Kundalini feels for you. I really love the one against the limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
And yourself. Don't hesitate to try to see the energy, and it's so beautiful. I like your sessions because they're mostly also outside, and it's like natural background. It's
thanks, Sarah.
Yes.
Just one thing before we go, I just want to really, really quickly talk to how you're saying the mind, like the mind, the toxics, it can be toxic, and that's where we can really feel like sort of toxicity from. Journaling is an amazing tool and a practice to empty the mind, like just free flow writing, but at least 3 pages, just to empty and dump everything that's like circulating through the mind is really helpful.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's Do you do that every day? Also 3 pages, or?
Yeah. If you can, and a real quick gratitude journal before night. Like really just quickly before you go to sleep. What am I grateful for? And then you can just find gratitude before you go to sleep, and then have like a really lovely, peaceful, relaxed sleep.
Yeah. That's such a good tip as well. Thanks, Onkartej, for all your presence, your energy, and your tips, and your I think already being around you is such a wisdom. You are radiating wisdom. I feel that. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to everything unfolding now in the future, and to be like observing your path, let's say, and maybe we'll work again together in the future. Who knows?
That'd be amazing. Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you so much for inviting me on, and it's been amazing to see how your journey is unfolding as well, Sarah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks also to the work with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so bye, Onkartej, and thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye, everyone.